Fretwalkers, the Signal Law Bible. Opening Manifest. Before the collapse, there was signal. After the collapse, there were listeners. The world of Fretwalkers exists in the aftermath of a tonal catastrophe known as the Dissonance Collapse, a systemic failure of sound, memory, and meaning. In this world, resonance is no longer passive. Sound shapes reality, stores history, and determines survival. Fretwalkers are not merely musicians. They are listeners, navigators, and custodians of fractured frequencies. Through instruments both ancient and modified, they interact with the remaining harmonic structures of the world, unlocking vaults, stabilizing silent zones, and confronting corrupted echoes left behind by the old signal empires. This law Bible serves as the authoritative canon of the Fretwalkers universe. It documents the collapse, defines the laws of sound, catalogues factions and artifacts, and preserves the known and disputed histories of those who walk the signal paths. Some entries are confirmed, others are corrupted, incomplete, or deliberately obscured. Truth in this world is frequency dependent. This document is both record and warning. To read it is to listen. To listen is to risk resonance. Section 1. The Signal Before. Before the collapse, sound was infrastructure. Signal networks spanned cities, continents, and orbital relays. Music, communication, navigation, and memory storage were all routed through harmonic systems refined over generations. Resonance was measured, regulated, and optimized. Silence was considered inefficiency. The tonal guilds emerged as custodians of these systems. Originally formed as acoustic engineers and cultural archivists, the guilds evolved into powerful authorities who governed access to frequency bands, tuning standards, and signal archives. Choirs, specialized harmonic collectives, were tasked with maintaining large-scale resonant stability across population centers. Music in this era was not art alone. It was encryption, architecture, and law. Entire districts were tuned to specific harmonic profiles. Transportation systems responded to pitch authentication. Vaults storing historical memory could only be accessed through precise tonal sequences. To alter sound was to alter function. Over time, dependence on signal deepened. Organic listening skills diminished as machine-assisted resonance became dominant. Neural audio implants enhanced perception but reduced adaptability. The world grew louder, clearer, and more fragile. Warnings existed. Independent listeners reported instability, echo persistence, tonal feedback loops, memory bleed. These reports were archived, deprioritized, or silenced. The system was considered too vast to fail. It failed anyway. Section 2. The Dissonance Collapse. No single record agrees on how the collapse began. Some sources describe a cascading harmonic overload, a convergence of resonant systems driven beyond stable thresholds by automated optimization. Others claim deliberate action, a failed attempt to unify all signal bands into a single, lossless archive. A minority of corrupted logs suggest something less mechanical, an emergent intelligence within the signal itself, reacting to prolonged containment. What is consistent is this. The collapse was not an explosion. It was a desynchronization. At a critical moment, resonant systems across the world fell out of phase. Signals arrived too early or too late. Echoes persisted beyond their source. Silence began to occupy space rather than absence. Time, once anchored by harmonic regularity, fractured into localized drifts. Cities experienced tonal failures in different ways. Some were rendered mute, entire districts swallowed by silent zones where sound collapsed into null fields. Others suffered echo saturation, where every action produced recursive auditory ghosts that overwrote memory and identity. In a few locations, resonance intensified beyond human tolerance, liquefying structures and nervous systems alike. The tonal guilds attempted containment. Choirs were deployed to restabilize collapsing regions through mass harmonic correction. Vault systems sealed automatically, locking away archives, technologies, and entire populations behind tonal barriers that could no longer be accessed. Signal Harmonic Guards were formed from remaining enforcement bodies, tasked with isolating unstable zones and suppressing uncontrolled listening. These efforts slowed the damage. They did not stop it. As infrastructure failed, machine-assisted resonance collapsed with it. Neural audio implants malfunctioned, amplifying distortion instead of clarity. Those most dependent on signal augmentation were often the first lost, to madness, to erasure, or to feedback-induced death. In the aftermath, a pattern emerged. Individuals who had retained strong organic listening skills, musicians, engineers, improvisers, and outliers who worked at the edges of sound, showed a higher survival rate. Some demonstrated an ability to interact with broken resonance fields directly, shaping unstable frequencies through intentional performance. These individuals were not immune, but they were adaptive. They became known, eventually, as Fretwalkers. The collapse did not end the world. It retuned it, violently, unevenly, and without consent. What followed was not recovery, but drift. Canon notes. The exact trigger of the collapse is intentionally unresolved. Conflicting explanations are all partially true. Time does not progress uniformly after this event. Silence zones originate here, not before. Section 3. Cosmology of Sound. After the collapse, sound ceased to be descriptive. It became causal. The following principles are not philosophical interpretations. They are observable laws derived from post-collapse field reports, vault records, and verified Fretwalker encounters. While regional variance exists, these forces behave consistently across all known zones. Sound is no longer merely heard. It acts. Resonance. Resonance is the state in which sound aligns with existing harmonic structures of reality. In pre-collapse systems, resonance was engineered. In the post-collapse world, it must be found or earned. When resonance is achieved, sound reinforces matter, memory, and continuity. Structures stabilize. Time flow normalizes. Harmonic memory becomes accessible. Proper resonance allows vaults to open, silent zones to weaken, and corrupted echoes to dissipate. Resonance cannot be forced indefinitely. Prolonged resonance without rest leads to harmonic fatigue, both in the environment and the performer. Skilled Fretwalkers treat resonance as negotiation, not domination. Dissonance. Dissonance is misalignment between sound and reality's harmonic state. It manifests as instability, distortion, and decay. Not all dissonance is destructive. Controlled dissonance can disrupt corrupted systems, fracture hostile resonance fields, and break locked harmonic seals. Uncontrolled dissonance, however, accelerates entropy. Structures fail. Memories fragment. Biological systems reject their own neural rhythms. The collapse itself is understood as a global dissonance event, one from which the world has never fully recovered. Echo. Echo is residual sound that persists beyond its source. Post-collapse echoes retain partial memory, intention, or emotional imprint. Some echoes replay events. Others respond unpredictably to new input. Most echoes are benign. Some are hostile. Echo saturation occurs when residual sound accumulates faster than it can decay. This leads to recursive feedback loops capable of overwriting identity, inducing hallucination, or creating autonomous echo entities. Experienced fretwalkers learn to read echoes as warnings rather than threats. Silence. Silence is not the absence of sound. It is a collapsed harmonic state. Silence zones form when resonance fully decays and dissonance resolves into null stability. Within these zones, sound loses agency. Instruments fail. Voices flatten. Time perception often distorts. Extended exposure to silent zones causes sensory erosion and psychological detachment. Some individuals report hearing phantom tones, interpreted as the mind attempting to compensate for harmonic loss. Silence spreads slowly but persistently. Once established, it resists retuning. Harmonic memory. Memory in the post-collapse world is stored in sound. Physical archives were lost or sealed, but harmonic memory persists within structures, landscapes, and artifacts. Vaults operate by preserving high-density harmonic memory fields. Relic instruments often carry residual knowledge from previous users. Certain locations replay historical moments when triggered by correct tonal sequences. Accessing harmonic memory requires precision and restraint. Improper tuning can corrupt the memory or merge it destructively with the present. Time drift. Time drift occurs when local harmonic stability diverges from global resonance. In drift zones, events may repeat, accelerate, delay, or overlap. Time drift is not travel. It is desynchronization. Some fretwalkers report encountering echoes of themselves or others within drift zones. These encounters are unreliable and often dangerous. Long-term exposure increases the risk of temporal dislocation, where individuals become unmoored from linear progression and fade from all known records. Canon summary. Sound governs reality post-collapse. Resonance stabilizes. Dissonance disrupts. Echo stores memory but may gain agency. Silence is a terminal harmonic state. Time drift is a symptom of tonal instability. These laws apply to all factions, artifacts, and individuals, without exception. Section 4. Factions of the broken signal. In the aftermath of the collapse, survival required alignment. Those who endured did not do so alone. They clustered around philosophies of sound, some seeking control, others preservation, others freedom. Over time, these philosophies hardened into factions, each interpreting the laws of resonance according to its own needs. No faction fully understands the signal. Each believes it does. The Tonal Guild. The Tonal Guild predates the collapse. Once engineers, archivists, and regulators of global resonance systems, they emerged from the ruins diminished but unbroken. The Guild believes the collapse was the result of mismanaged freedom, too many uncontrolled listeners, too much improvisation, insufficient regulation. Their doctrine centers on restoration through standardization. Guild-controlled zones are heavily tuned. Frequencies are licensed. Unauthorized performance is discouraged or punished. In exchange, these zones offer relative stability, access to archives, and protection from roaming echoes. The Guild does not deny the existence of fretwalkers. It considers them dangerous variables. Signal Harmonic Guard, SHG. The SHG formed during the collapse itself, evolving from emergency response and containment forces. Their mandate is simple: prevent further harmonic failure. SHG operatives enforce exclusion zones, guard sealed vaults, and neutralize uncontrolled resonance events. Unlike the Guild, they are pragmatic rather than ideological. If a frequency stabilizes a region, they will tolerate it. If it destabilizes, they will end it. Many Fretwalkers have clashed with the SHG. Some have joined them. The SHG maintains the most complete surviving maps of silent zones and time drift regions, though access to this data is restricted. Rogue orders and drift bans. Not all survivors accepted control. Rogue orders are loose affiliations of listeners, performers, and engineers who reject centralized authority. Some seek enlightenment through sound. Others pursue profit, power, or personal myth. Drift bands are nomadic collectives that follow unstable signal paths, performing rituals to stabilize temporary corridors through hostile zones. Their music is often aggressive, improvised, and highly situational. These groups vary wildly in ethics and competence. Some are respected allies. Others are feared predators. The line between rogue and Fretwalker is thin. Wilderness listeners. Far from the ruins of cities, a different tradition survived. Wilderness listeners believe the collapse was a correction, not a failure. They avoid infrastructure, refuse implants, and tune themselves to environmental resonance rather than constructed sound. Their music is subtle, often unrecognizable as music at all. Many Guild records dismiss them as primitive. Field reports suggest otherwise. Wilderness zones exhibit lower rates of silent spread and echo corruption. They rarely interfere. When they do, outcomes are unpredictable. Canon summary. Factions are defined by philosophy of sound. No faction has full authority over resonance. Alliances shift based on harmonic necessity. Fretwalkers exist outside faction hierarchy. Section 5. Artifacts and Technologies. The collapse did not erase technology. It unmoored it. Devices built for a stable harmonic world now operate unpredictably, their functions shaped as much by intention as by design. In the post-collapse era, technology survives only when it can negotiate with resonance rather than impose upon it. Artifacts are not tools alone. They are participants. Busui instruments. Busui instruments are string-based harmonic devices designed to interface directly with fractured resonance fields. While pre-collapse prototypes existed, modern Busui instruments are largely handcrafted, modified, or rebuilt from salvaged components. No two are identical. Their defining trait is responsiveness. A Busui instrument does not merely amplify sound, it interprets it, translating performance into harmonic influence. Skilled users report the instrument pushing back, resisting unstable frequencies or amplifying intent beyond expected output. Busui instruments are considered semi-sentient by some factions, though this remains unproven. Dual mixture devices. Dual mixture devices are paired harmonic modulators designed to blend two conflicting tonal states simultaneously. Originally developed for advanced signal correction, they are now used to stabilize volatile environments or weaponize dissonance. When misused, these devices can induce harmonic inversion, where stabilizing tones become destructive and destructive tones become anchoring. This makes them both valuable and dangerous. Guild regulations strictly limit their deployment. Rogue orders ignore such limits. Neural audio implants. Neural audio implants enhance auditory perception and resonance interaction by routing sound directly through cognitive processing centers. Before the collapse, these implants were commonplace. After the collapse, they became liabilities. Implants amplify resonance, but they also amplify corruption. Malfunctioning units have caused auditory hallucinations, memory bleed, and permanent identity fragmentation. Many survivors have removed or disabled their implants entirely. Some Fretwalkers retain modified implants, using them selectively and sparingly. Vault systems. Vaults are sealed harmonic archives containing technology, memory, and in some cases, living occupants frozen in suspended resonance states. Vault access requires precise tonal sequences aligned with the vault's original harmonic key. Many vaults remain unopened, their keys lost or corrupted. Others open partially, releasing fragmented echoes, unstable artifacts, or incomplete historical records. Vaults are among the most contested locations in the post-collapse world. Relic gear. Relic gear refers to equipment exposed to prolonged resonance or echo saturation. Weapons, tools, and instruments in this category often exhibit unpredictable behavior. Some relics respond only to specific individuals. Others function intermittently or exact a cost for use, draining memory, inducing fatigue, or attracting hostile echoes. Relic gear cannot be fully repaired. It can only be managed. Canon summary. Technology must cooperate with resonance to function. Instruments are adaptive, not inert. Implants enhance power but increase risk. Vaults preserve memory but resist access. Relics are unstable but potent. Section 6. The Fretwalkers. Fretwalkers are not a faction. They are a condition. They emerge wherever sound and survival intersect, individuals capable of navigating fractured resonance without succumbing to collapse, corruption, or silence. No formal order governs them. No authority appoints them. A Fretwalker is recognized only after the fact. The Fretwalker condition. All confirmed Fretwalkers share several traits. Advanced organic listening ability. Resistance, not immunity, to echo corruption. Capacity to influence resonance through performance. Willingness to operate alone or outside hierarchy. What separates a Fretwalker from other listeners is adaptation under pressure. Where others attempt to impose sound, Fretwalkers respond, negotiate, and redirect. They do not master the signal. They survive it. Archetypal roles. While no two Fretwalkers are identical, field records identify recurring archetypal tendencies. These roles are descriptive, not prescriptive. The Wanderer operates independently across zones, carrying minimal gear, prioritizes mobility and adaptability over power, often serves as courier of memory or warning. The Tuner specializes in stabilization, known for restoring limited functionality to silence adjacent zones or reopening sealed harmonic pathways. The Breaker uses controlled dissonance offensively, frequently involved in vault breaches, echo suppression, and hostile resonance engagements. The Oracle interacts directly with harmonic memory and time drift phenomena. High-risk role with elevated rates of cognitive degradation. Many Fretwalkers shift roles over time. Canon Fretwalker Profiles. Note: the following profiles are compiled from verified encounters, recovered transmissions, and disputed accounts. Status may change without notice. Aeon Marr the last warden of echoes. Origin. Aeon Marr is a relic of the world before the Dissonance Collapse, or perhaps a remnant created by it. His timeline is fractured, spoken of in paradox. Some claim he was once an engineer of the deep signals, a guild-aligned harmonic architect tasked with protecting the final resonant bands before they fell into silence. Others believe he was born after, in the afterglow of the old world, shaped by ghost frequencies and raised among warped transmissions. There is no proof of his origin, no surviving birth log, no official guild record, only signals, scattered like bones across broken bandwidths, each one humming with a frequency that matches only one name, Aeon Marr. Purpose. He walks the labyrinth of broken time, not as a traveler, but as a custodian. Aeon listens to what remains, damaged transmissions, looping fragments, and decayed harmonics that once carried the hopes of entire civilizations. He collects them not to restore the past, but to honor it, to make them heard again, even if only as ghosts. His tools are not of this age. His guitar, hybridized through loss and innovation, serves as a channel, converting memory into sound, error into expression. He plays not for entertainment, but as invocation. Every performance is a ritual, every note, a key turning in the rusted lock of time. Reputation. To those who trade in signals, he is the last warden, a title not claimed, but earned through silence and sacrifice. Among frequency pirates, he is known as a chronomancer, accused of bending time through modulation, of reshaping memory through reverb and decay. To guild loyalists, he is a signal thief, a rogue agent who refuses protocol, who gathers without registering, who plays without consent. To a few, especially those listening from the dark edge of the bands, he is a legend, a proof that someone still walks the drift. He does not broadcast often, but when he does, entire regions fall quiet. Even the static listens. Current status. Last seen transmitting from a sealed signal room. He moves like a myth through the remains of the world, a man unstuck in chronology, hunting resonance, seeking what was lost, gathering what still sings. He is Aeon Marr, and the echoes remember him. Zira Tenbris. Alias, the silent score, the theorist. Rho del Tonal. Location, last known transmission, Volt Theta, Sector Silence. Role, master music theorist, extonal scientist. ID, unknown. Backstory. Zira Tenbris was once a high-ranking theorist within the Tonal Guild's Inner Harmonic Council, a place few reached, and fewer survived intact. Her work redefined deep structure, layering quantum acoustics with harmonic behavior to uncover the very DNA of sound. Where others heard melody, Zira heard architecture. She could see the scaffold beneath every scale, trace emotional consequence across waveform geometry. But knowledge has gravity, and Zira fell too deep. They say she accessed the Primarch modes, forbidden signal patterns buried in pre-collapse archives, and survived. Barely. After that, her methods became erratic, her writings dissonant, her theories indistinguishable from prophecy. The guild branded her a signal liability. She vanished shortly after, or was vanished. Now, her name is barely spoken in guild corridors. But among outlaw composers and deep signal exiles, her teachings are sacred. Scraps of her chord atlas surface in trader rings. Some claim she transmits under the ID null, her signal so perfectly tuned it passes beneath standard detection grids, music felt more than heard. Purpose. Zira believes there is still order in the chaos. Not a return to old harmony, but a new evolution, something beyond guild control. a universal scale hidden inside the noise of collapse. She walks alone now, reconstructing the silent score, a lost framework that, if completed, could rethread the world's broken frequencies. Her former colleagues believe it's madness. The faithful believe it's resurrection. She does not teach. She reveals. Reputation. To guild loyalists, a rogue theorist infected by myth. To drift composers, a cipher priestess, unreachable, but revered. To Aeon Marr, her silence hums louder than most screams. Her appearance is cloaked in simplicity, long tattered robes woven with notation glyphs, eyes inked with staff-line tattoos. Her voice rarely speaks, but her instruments do, modified tone maps, pressure-stringed fret surfaces, tuning crystals coded in triadic memory. Where she walks, sound changes. Moryan Miryan. Alias, Signal Ghost, Middleman 7, Patch Bay Prophet. Location, last trace near geosignature, 43.7 north, 79.4 west. Role, independent interlinker, beat circuit handler. ID, SHG7X20V88. He doesn't transmit often, but when he does, the whole signal field listens. Backstory. Moryan Miryan wasn't assigned. He emerged. Born during the chorus fade, when most tonal infrastructure dissolved into silence, he grew up in fragmented zones where obsolete tech still breathed, flickering with forgotten protocols. He learned guitar like most initiates, and played just well enough to be accepted. But that wasn't where his signal lived. His genius. Not strings, circuits. He began with scavenged samplers and dismantled broadcast cores. No manual, no teacher. Just noise and instinct. Moryan would bend broken devices until they confessed rhythm, layering decayed signals into percussive cycles. The results weren't just clever. They moved something. Somewhere between beat and message, his compositions began to speak back. The fall-off. At some point, he vanished from guild oversight. Some say he hacked into forbidden echo channels. Others claim he walked out of the Signal Temple midright, leaving behind only a half-finished transmission marked M7Y Delta. Whatever the cause, he became more rumor than man. A legend among signal drifters, crossband loopers, and pirate archivists. Modus. Moryan listens to signals others discard. He retrieves fragments from crash feeds, underground vault echoes, forgotten satellite pings. He refines them, not to change, but to reveal. His loops clarify the original resonance without distorting its origin. It's curation at a quantum level. Sonic preservation with surgical patience. Where those signals come from? Unknown. Why he selects some over others? Unknown. But when you hear a pulse kick hiding a Morse cadence, or a loop stitched with ghost guitar memory, you know. Moryan touched this. Presence. He has no face in the archives. No confirmed sightings. But his patch rhythms and mid-band ghost filters appear like graffiti across signal space. He is the middleman of drift music, connecting what was sent to what still might arrive. Some say he's searching for something. Some say he's building a map. But most agree on one thing. When the noise clears, and a message starts to shape itself, Moryan Miryan is already listening. Kairon Vesk, the shadow stringer. Not all who fade are lost. Some are just listening more closely. Origin. Long before the collapse, before the signal tore and the echoes frayed, Kairon Vesk was a whisper in the machine. He was not born in a place, but between pulses, among tuning drift, buried channels, half-erased memories. Those who remember claim he once studied resonant threading, a form of audio weaving used to stabilize unstable transmissions. Others say he was a failed guild initiate, exiled after a neural misalignment forced him into silence. But no one knows for sure. The name Shadowstringer didn't come from glory. It came from what was left behind: tuned silence, surgical loops, ghosted strings strung between ruins like spiderwebs of sound. Method. Kairon is a signal nomad, never lingering long, always tracing weak frequencies like scent trails. His instruments are not always visible. Some say he carries a folded fretboard, embedded with decaying harmonics. Others claim his hands alone can coax transmissions from dead wire. He doesn't just walk the land, he listens through it. Vaults, broken towers, discarded chords, and severed machines hum under his presence. He speaks rarely, but when he does, it is like hearing a familiar melody played on an unfamiliar instrument. Raw, fractured, deeply human. Purpose. He doesn't seek fame or salvation, only fragments. Kairon is a resonance gatherer, threading moments of beauty or warning from static and storing them in signal memory. Each is a note in a longer melody, one not yet written. His journey is both archival and poetic, a personal act of resistance in a world where silence is winning. Reputation. Most guilds don't acknowledge him, but lone Fretwalkers, those who truly listen, pass his signature between signal breaks. KV, echo held, not broken. Some call him a myth. Others claim he's been dead for years. But the Shadowstringer keeps moving. And where Kairon Vesk goes, meaning begins to return. Sid Ankiras. Alias: Static Vigilant. Echo Scavenger, the last of Cell Block A. Location: former Robert Presley Detention Complex. Geosignature: 33.953350 degrees north, 117.396156 degrees west. Function: Tone Hunter, Signal Listener, Passive Relay Point. ID Tag: SHG S1D Delta 4189. Backstory: Legacy in the dust. 'Twas my father's name before me, and his father's before him. Some names echo because they're remembered. Others, because they've survived. Sid Ankiras comes from a long line of dustwalkers and ruin runners, men who outlived their usefulness in the eyes of the old world, yet kept going. They were never chosen, never assigned, but always present. 3 generations have lived and died among the skeletal ruins of a once thriving city reduced to farmland, landfill, and decay. Sid was raised in the shell of the Robert Presley Detention Center, a fortress of brick and rust, long ago abandoned after the final signal collapse rendered all surveillance blind. What was once a cage for the broken and dangerous became a sanctuary for scavengers, sheltering those who could read static better than scripture. Method: Listener's Code. Sid never joined the guild. He didn't study under any master, but he has something they don't. Generational rhythm, an instinctive awareness of signal patterns buried beneath noise. In the cell block echoes and wire-fractured silence, he found what others missed: a pulse. He doesn't broadcast. He doesn't transmit. He listens. He pieces together relics from failed drone crashes and downed patrol beacons. He wires old fence posts into rudimentary antennae, scratches tone maps onto his own skin, and waits. He says the vaults hum if you sit still long enough. That every ruin holds at least one unfinished song. And lately, he's heard something new, a tone that doesn't belong to the dead systems. A signal with intent. Personal record. Field note. Everywhere feels like a prison these days. Even the wind has a fence in it. But this one tone, it's different. Not just noise, not a glitch. It carries shape, maybe even hope. If anyone else hears it, know this. I'm still here. Sid Ankiras, Cell Block Echo 3. Reputation. The quiet wire. To most in the outer circuits, Sid Ankiras doesn't exist. Here's a footnote. A flicker in a band nobody tunes to. But those who drift near his region know to respect the silence. His field is clean. His logs are sharp. And occasionally, one of his quiet compilations makes it across the wires. A faint beat line, a buried guitar loop, a breath. And always, his name, etched into the low hum like a signature passed from father to son. S. Ankiras, local wire. Listening still. Vox Ranger. Alias, Tone Shepherd. Signal Saint. Terror Exile Protector. Location, transient, mostly inner zone ruins and broadcast alleys. Signature gear, Busui double guitar, relic class, modified hollow wave chambers. Known companion creatures, 2 squirrels, treble and Nash. ID tag, SHG4S2T779 Delta. Origin, the voice beneath the wires. No one remembers when Vox Ranger first appeared, only that he was always broadcasting before you started listening. His name rides on rusted airwaves and dream static, repeated like a half-heard melody at the end of failed transmissions. Some say he was a guild dropout. Others think he's one of the last survivors of the subsonic congregation, an old order that believed every city held a divine tone buried deep beneath its street grid. Wherever he came from, he's tuned to something others can't reach. His Busui double guitar is unlike any found in the wild, customized, worn, and wired to loop signals from long-dead satellites. When he plays, walls hum and lights flicker, not from volume, but from memory. Purpose, a guardian in the shadows. Though rarely seen in daylight, Vox Ranger walks the inner ruins, urban husks filled with old cables, broken antennas, and forgotten silence. He doesn't just play. He builds. He reclaims vacant rooftops and broken apartments, turning them into shelters. Not just for people, but for strays. Dogs, cats, birds, but mostly squirrels. He sees them as survivors of the collapse. Clever, fast, adaptive. He feeds them, names them. Treble and Nash are his closest, often seen curled near his amp during signal sets or twitching in his coat during patrols. Gear, relic-grade Busui, dual Nexus mod. His guitar is a Busui double unit, bass and guitar back-to-back, but rewired for environmental echo looping. The finish is flaked, the body is scarred, and symbols from ancient transmission codes are scratched into the fretboards. On rare nights, you can hear him perform in underground halls, using broken speakers and tuned reverb chambers to channel lost voices, as if the city itself were trying to sing again. "The vault remembers," he once said. "I'm just here to help it speak." Reputation, the voice that keeps us human. To some, he's a phantom. To others, a savior. To every animal he shelters, he's just the warm hands and soft hum. In message boards and patch forums, the phrase Vox was here sometimes appears, scrawled in signal tags or whispered in beat sequences. When the signal falters, and the dark gets too loud, some Fretwalkers say you can feel a shift, a change in hum, and know the Vox Ranger is near. Fretwalkers Codex, Field Note. The tone you chase isn't fiction. It's a buried frequency. And the vault remembers. So do the lost. So do I. Vox Ranger, Low Sky Signal Block 4A. Ishme Donjineaux. I took up strumming just so I had something to sing with. Last known transmission, Vault 6, pre-breach. Alias, The Vault Whaler, Echo Canary, Harmonic Latchkey. Location, last heard, Vault 6, Sector Echo Chi. Role, Song Seeker, Voice Bearer, Emotional Frequency Carrier. ID Tag, SHGIJD Delta 0624. Origin, The Singer in the Dark. Ishme Donjineaux wasn't born into the signal like others. He sang his way in. Raised near the outer drift bands of the chord vaults, Ishme grew up surrounded by resonance but not rhythm. Instruments were rare, but voices traveled through walls, pipes, and shafts. He learned early that singing was survival. In the dark, cold places between guilds and grids, a voice could mean safety. It could mean company. It could even mean direction. Style, a strummer's confession. Ishme's relationship to guitar is honest. I strum. I don't play. He never mastered fingerwork or theory, but his chords were always full, open, and human. He picked up guitar as a vehicle for his voice, a resonant floor to lift what really mattered, the message in the melody. His songs are simple but searing, often improvised, always memorable. They carry an ache, a laughter, a lived-in truth. He could make you cry with 2 chords and a hum, one old guild mech wrote in the margins of a corrupted archive. Event, Vault 6 and the Harmonic Breach. Vault 6 was thought stable, until the Harmonic Breach, a resonance failure that caused frequency collapse across 3 sectors. Ishme was logged as present, singing to stabilize a drifting tonal field. Then, nothing. No trace, no body, no conclusion. Just a lingering hum on an unusable channel. To this day, some Fretwalkers swear they hear his voice echoing through broken tunnels, a chorus in the reverb, humming simple chords, whispering comfort to the frightened or the alone. Reputation, the Echo Canary. To engineers, Ishme is remembered as the canary of the vault, a singer sent ahead into untested frequencies to test their stability. His voice, oddly immune to distortion, could resonate with dangerous tones and coax them into balance. To travelers, he's a story told around broken amps and campfires. To surviving listeners, he is the only song that never fully left. Fretwalkers Codex, recovered transmission log. Don't worry about the chords being clean. Just hum it loud till the quiet gets scared and runs. That's all music is, making silence nervous. Ishme Donjineaux, Vault 6, last known log. Caelus Virel. I don't trust signals. I trust the bark of my dogs, the cry of a hawk, the silence of trees when something ain't right. Alias, the Ridgehound, Ember Nomad, Wild Tone Guardian. Location, Sector WLD 44 Blue Grid Range. Geosignature, 37.22 degrees north, 78.47 degrees west. Function, Wilderness Scout times Audio Forager times Pack Sentinel. ID Tag, SHGCVL Delta 7280. Origin, Mountain-born. Caelus Virel wasn't raised in cities. He didn't grow up with towers humming or circuits pulsing. He was born in the tree line, where the frequencies go thin and real survival begins. Some say he was a guild runner, long ago. Others say he never took the oath, just rode his dirt bike into exile after a betrayal that left his people bleeding and his loyalty scorched. Now he lives high above the low-band chaos, in the ridge zones and forgotten woodlands, accompanied by 5 loyal dogs and a scatter of adopted wild creatures that follow him like spirits. He doesn't answer calls, but he hears everything. The Pack Code. The dogs are more than companions, they're part of his signal system, each one trained to read vibration, scent, and threat. He calls them Cinder, oldest, scarred but sharp; Rook, fast, silent, a born scout; Loom, watches the sky; Grin, always alert, always moving; Vela, the youngest, fierce and loud. He speaks to them like their crew, like they know the mission. Maybe they do. Gear, wild-built. Caelus rides a mod dirt bike, scavenged from old highway wrecks and tuned to run on converted pulse cells. He keeps a resonant crossbow, signal beacon traps, and an acoustic mapping device that detects low-frequency sound anomalies across the mountains, natural or otherwise. He doesn't trust technology, but he understands it like a hunter understands the wind. Role, the guardian of the tree line. Caelus doesn't walk into cities. He watches them burn from the ridges. But when frequencies ripple wrong, when echoes creep into the forest, he rides down fast and hard, following static like blood in the snow. His only rule, don't bring harm up the hill. He protects his pack, his family, and the last clean tone of the wilderness. The world's broken, but not all of it. And I'll put a howl in anyone who tries to finish the job. Reputation, Ridgehound of the Lost Signal. Some lowbanders think he's just a ghost, a man-shaped ripple caught between the branches. Others say they've seen him flash through tree tunnels on 2 wheels, cloak flapping, crossbow lit with ion arcs, dogs howling in harmony behind him. And always, after the danger's past, a stillness, a warmth, a half-heard voice whispering through the trees. Caelus was here. You're safe now. Recovered field note, logbook 7, unverified. You don't get to save the world, but you can keep one hill safe. That's how the signal survives. One ridgeline at a time. Caelus Virel, Trailstone Ridge. Una Auris. 1 year lost, 1 soul attuned. He walks by resonance, not by reason. Alias, the single ear, Whisper Walker, Oracle of Phase. Location, Sector Hannah 13 Geosignature, 20.048836 degrees north, minus 155.431019 degrees west. ID tag, SHGUA Delta 5210. Classification, Independent Seeker, Signal Ascetic, Lawbound Pilgrim. Origin, their sound-split child. They say Una Auris was born during the aftershock of the Dissonance Collapse, in the harmonic scars left behind by dead satellites and failing echo towers. One of his ears was taken at birth, by frequency, by fate, or by force, no one knows. But the loss became his tuning fork. From that moment, he heard the world differently. Raised in a whispering monastic enclave deep in the volcanic archipelago, he absorbed sonic rites, the language of static, and the secret hymns of decaying codecs. But he left them behind, not in rebellion, but in pursuit of a deeper echo. The Quest, Mixtura Durum. For 52 years, Una Auris has wandered the driftlands and forgotten channels, searching for the Alta Fides, the legendary Medley of Two, a mythical document said to contain the codex for true dual audition. Some say it's a scroll, others say it's a waveform that can only be heard by both halves of a soul. He calls it the double deer. Others call it madness. Una believes the Fretwalkers guard the last truths of binaural balance, and that only by earning the right to wield a Basui battle axe, an instrument of sonic unity, can he complete the pairing of himself with the echo he lost. Traits and skills. Sonic orientation specialist. Can navigate blindfolded using spatial harmonics and surface reverb. Law interpreter. Deciphers lost guild chants, waveform glyphs, and dual-channel scroll fragments. Phase sensitive. Uncanny ability to detect phase cancellations, making him a living null detector. Survivalist minimalist. Survives off resonance farming, rain synthesis, and tonal microdrips. Gear. Echo reliquary. Monoaural rig. A filtered headset channeling sound to his left ear only, tuned to ancient tuning standards. Pulse bone staff. Walking stick embedded with coiled strings, used for rhythmic ground readings. Scroll trap. A resonant satchel designed to collect ambient sonic imprints over time. Philosophy. The path of half-hearing. To Una, silence is never empty, it's just waiting for its pair. He believes only those who suffer absence can appreciate totality. He's not in a rush. Every misstep brings him closer. They mock me for my missing ear. But they don't hear what I hear. They never will. Reputation. Mystic or madman. Some say he once walked into a dead zone and returned with a working fragment of a forgotten duet. Others swear he once silenced a rogue amplifier with a single sung note. He's feared by sonic cults and chased by relic thieves, but never caught. His presence always fades into static. Excerpt from Signal Harmonic's Guild Record. UNA Auris. Access level denied. Subject seeks passage through the chord vaults in pursuit of mixtura duorum. Let him pass if he speaks truth in phase. But test the timbre. For deception hides in harmony. Lex Hollan. Alias. The seeker of two tones, Echo 9 BL Delta K. The silent signal. Location. Last trace near geosignature. 53.5854 degrees north, 116.4337 degrees west. Weyburn Drift. Role. Blind Transmission Wanderer, Sonic Pathmaker. ID. SHG 9 BL Delta K 2277. Backstory. Lex Hollan was never found. He was heard. Born blind and raised in the outskirts of Weyburn, Saskatchewan, Lex's world was always built on sound waves and vibrations. Before the collapse fractured the world into static and silence, he busked on cracked sidewalks, purple guitar in hand, seeking notes and chords in a city that barely listened. His instruments were extensions of his being, a purple guitar paired with a cane heathed in matching hue, a silent declaration of identity in a world gone silent. When the Dissonance Collapse shattered infrastructure and fractured frequencies, Lex vanished from sight, becoming a ghost in the sonic drift. Now, he roams the ruins, sending out cryptic musical transmissions, a relentless search for what he calls harmony and serenity. Two elusive tones, two ideals that ripple beneath every note he plays. To many, these are mere words. To Lex, they are a lifeline, a coded message buried deep in his signal, a beacon of hope and hidden longing. Signal. Lex's transmissions are unlike any others. They weave raw guitar riffs with fragments of ambient echoes, pierced by haunting melodies that ripple like water over shattered glass. His voice is not heard but felt, a vibration through the static, a pulse beneath the noise. He broadcasts in fleeting bursts, a note here, a pulse there, disappearing before the signal can be fully traced. His music is a cipher, a prayer, a hidden story wrapped in sound, waiting for the right listener to decode. Reputation. To signal hunters and drift musicians, Lex is a legend whispered in dark corners, the seeker of two tones, a man whose blindness grants him uncanny attunement to frequencies others cannot hear. Some say he's a mad minstrel, others believe he's the last true sonic pathmaker, a keeper of forgotten melodies. His hat, a top hat encircled with tiny skulls, is a symbol of mortality and defiance, a worn relic from a time long gone but never forgotten. His steampunk glasses spring with coils, a mix of utility and flair, protecting what little sight remains, or perhaps shielding the world from his piercing gaze. Current status. Lex is rarely seen, but often heard. He moves silently through the wastelands, a figure marked by his purple guitar and cane, broadcasting signals from hidden enclaves and forgotten ruins. His search for harmony and serenity is ongoing, a quest that transcends time and signal space, weaving hope into a fractured world. His transmissions are the pulse of survival, a reminder that even in silence, music remains. Toltec, the unbound chord. Origin. Toltec was born beneath the black sigil of control, on a forgotten isle where the law wore a badge forged of silence. His father, a sheriff of the old regime, was a man who feared melody more than madness. Where others heard song, he heard defiance. Where others crafted harmony, he saw treason. And so he hunted his own blood. From the age of 5, Toltec ran, not just from his father, but from the weight of inherited chains. He became myth among the isles, a shadow slipping through rusted patrol grids, a whisper in the wires, a heartbeat too erratic to trace. He heard the old songs in wind and wire, and began to play in secret, crafting soundscapes from scrap, intuition, and ache. Then the dissonance struck. He was captured when it came, locked away in a harmonic cell, his spirit throttled by anti-song fields meant to erase music at the molecular level. But the collapse did not end him. It awakened him. The sonic aftershocks ruptured the prison's walls and his own resonance bloomed. He didn't just survive the shattering, he played through it. The frequencies he summoned bent the very alloy of his cage, crumbling stone and iron into ash and sorrow. His escape was not just physical, it was existential. He walked out of that place no longer hunted, no longer son. He walked out as Toltec, the unbound chord. Purpose. Toltec plays for those who are shackled, not just by bars, but by silence, by lineage, by fear. His melodies are insurrections. Every note carries the echo of resistance, of laughter beneath tyranny, of beauty that refuses to die. His instruments are constructed from broken ordnance and salvaged dreams. His voice, long suppressed, now distorts the air like thunder across a static sea. He does not seek vengeance. He seeks volume, a reclamation of space, of soul, of self. And in his playing, entire cities remember how to feel again. Reputation. Among the remnant bands, Toltec is known as a chord breaker, one who can fracture even encoded guild harmonics with raw signal. In outlaw circuits, he is the fugitive note, a ghost riff that cannot be charted. To the guild, he is an anomaly that should have perished in the collapse. They do not speak his name, but they monitor him. And to the freethinkers, the wire poets, the machine folk, the melody makers, Toltec is something rarer than a hero. He is proof that the silence can be undone. Current status. Last seen crossing the deep islets with a rig of chorus mines and a prototype tonal disruptor strapped to his back. He leaves behind trails of broken broadcasts, looped fragments of prison hymns, and altered frequencies that taste of freedom. He does not hide. He resonates. He is Toltec, and his sound cannot be caged. Soloman Rhoke, the Ghost Pilot. Origin. Before the collapse, before the sky burned with broken data and the earth fractured beneath obsolete giants, Soloman Rhoke was a name broadcast across every district. A titan among titans, not by size, but by will. He was a robot jox, one of the elite few who danced death in mechanized arenas where skyscraper-sized war machines clashed for dominance, currency, and spectacle. Forged in the crucible of the pre-collapse mechanized arena wars, Rhoke piloted the behemoth known as Iron Scourge 7, a relic of engineered violence and national pride. He was a symbol of precision, force, and unshakable resolve. But when the controls failed and the machines rebelled, no longer obeying human command, Soloman vanished. No deathlog, no wreckage, just silence and rumor. Purpose. Rhoke did not die. He walked away. Some say he tore his neural harness free and wandered the wastelands with metal still embedded in his spine. Others whisper that he was spared by the aurolith itself, marked by the resonance of war for a future yet unwritten. Now, he drifts through abandoned corridors of forgotten cities and signal-blasted outposts. He does not seek glory, only equilibrium. He listens to the old ignition codes buried in the static, haunted by machine language dreams and the weight of every command he ever gave. His body is part archive, his arm a rebuilt actuator, his memory a battlefield. Reputation. To ex-guild tacticians, Rhoke is a ghost file, a redacted asset. Too valuable to erase, too dangerous to recall. To rogue tinkerers and junk scribes, he is legend, the man who walked away from a falling titan and survived the neural burn. To Fretwalkers, he is a watcher of ruins, one who remembers what machines once were, and what they should never be again. And to the resonance-warped youth of the outer bands, he is myth, a living warning. A walking frequency spike. Current status. Soloman Rhoke wanders still, unspoken for. Some claim he follows the paths of old power cores, tracking what remains of the jock's grid. Others say he communes with malfunctioning constructs, not to control them, but to forgive them. His voice rarely carries beyond the hiss of wind through shattered dome glass. But if you ever hear the soft click of servo limbs in the distance, followed by the low hum of an engine that no longer exists, step carefully. The last pilot is near, and he remembers everything. Darren Voss, the harbinger of hollow tone. Origin. Darren Voss emerged from the mute scar where the world's sound once shattered, a forbidden zone known only as the silence. Not a metaphor, a real place, buried deep within a crushed continent where echo, reverb, and even the memory of music have been annihilated. In the time before the collapse, he was a resonant excavator, one of the last to attempt mapping vibrational ley lines beneath cities of vanishing sound. But something went wrong. The last thing anyone heard from him was a sustained harmonic note, pure, anguished, impossibly loud, then, nothing. No signal. No return. Years later, a form emerged from the null. Not quite the same man. Changed. They say Voss returned carrying the feedback chain, an ancient stringed weapon pulsing with captured distortion, its body covered in sonic glyphs that only bloom when played with intent. His right arm hums with interference, fused with a looping interface that bends feedback into rhythm, pain into tone. Whether this graft is machine, curse, or both, none can say. Purpose. Darren Voss walks not to remember, but to reignite. He tunes broken spaces, compels corrupted signals to confess their origin. In regions where frequencies still fester, he drags melody from decay, warping it into something raw and new. His goal is whispered among ruins and rebel bunkers alike. Awaken the echo code. A mythic waveform. A harmony so perfect it might reverse the dissonance, reseed resonance, and restart the music of the world. Or destroy what's left trying. His presence fractures the air. Feedback clings to him like mist. Wherever he plays, strange harmonics follow, siren tones that warp metal, crack stone, and awaken long-dormant listening machines. Reputation. To the Guild, Voss is dangerous, a zone breacher, guilty of entering forbidden sound-dead regions without sanction. To the SHG, Signal Harmonic Guard, he is a potential asset or liability, depending on who tunes him. To pirate broadcasters and black market loopers, he's a tone reaper, a mythic figure said to command silence and sound in equal measure. Among the Fretwalkers, he is feared and revered. The only one to return from Zone Zero with his mind and music intact, if changed. He wears no call sign, carries no transmission ID. But when you hear the heavy tone blooming across the low bands, primal, distorted, aching, you know. Voss has walked through. And the zone still listens to him. Current status. Believed to be operating deep within fractured harmonic territory near the ruins of Antiphon Gate. No confirmed broadcast in over 900 cycles. A single encrypted signal fragment surfaced weeks ago. The echo code stirs. I will break the walls where no sound lives. He is Darren Voss. He plays where no sound dares dwell. And in the silence, his tone grows louder. Noh Bhody, the null-tuned paradox. Echo Signal V6H. Vault Scroll, Skywatcher's Archive. I spend my days alone now. Machines as my hands. Escaper of land is how the old records define it. Origin. There is no record of his birth, no Vorisprint on file, no matching biosignature in the registry of known entities. He simply was. Or is. Or perhaps remains. Some say Noh Bhody emerged from beneath Relay 7 during a vault quake, born not of flesh but of residual signal and failed memory encoding. Others claim he was once part of a terrascaping guild before the awakening fractured chronology and sense alike. Either way, he was changed, unanchored, tuned to something no longer charted. When the sky broke and light bled through, Noh was the only one who looked up and understood. Purpose. Noh Bhody deciphers patterns within light that most ignore. He listens to the parts of signal deemed useless, ambient decay, solar skips, low-band dissonance. But from that noise, he extracts meaning, warning, direction. He is not a prophet. He makes no claims. But when the vault scrolls began glowing with sunprint glyphs, it was he who translated the halo fractals. He who whispered the words awakening confirmed. His tools are extensions of himself now, mechanical hands configured to etch meaning from the land, from cloud paths, from fractured horizon lines. Reputation. To skywatchers, he is the first witness. To vault technicians, he's a rogue seer, outside the system, dangerously correct. To archivists, he's proof that not all who lost signal were lost entirely. Some call him a halo seer. Some just call him myth. But whenever atmospheric rings ripple in quiet symmetry, watchers ask the same thing. Has Noh Bhody seen this? Current status. Stationed somewhere along the Echo Rift perimeter, silent, always observing. He speaks rarely, but his glyphs arrive unbidden, drawn in frost, etched in glass, burned into static. When light bleeds through, he deciphers. Ekim Notrab, the relic router. Signal Corps Echo Tier Operative. Sector, former continental uplink. Origin. Before the collapse deafened the grid, before the choir war smothered every known broadcast, Ekim Notrab was a soldier, U.S. Army Signal Corps, elite tier. He wasn't just a comms technician. He spoke with signals, routed them, read their pulse like a medic reads vitals. They say he could fix a comms tower faster than most could boot their gear. When the dissonance spread and resonance fractured, most lost contact. Not Ekim. He followed the flickers. He traced the dying calls, and when even the satellites fell, he kept listening. He didn't need command. The field was his home now. Then came the guitars. Relics, some older than the static itself, began to cross his path, abandoned, warped, humming with trapped harmonics. He didn't keep them. He studied them, tuned them, played their stories back into the world, then passed them on. Notrab believes each guitar relic is a traveler like him, meant to be experienced, understood, and released. No ownership. Just signal flow. Purpose. Ekim is a router of relics, a technician of tone and transition. He doesn't fight with his guitar, he navigates with it. Each performance is an uplink, each note a routing key. He finds lost harmonics, replays them with clarity, and sends them forward to where they need to be. Some call it magic. He calls it protocol. His style blends analog warmth with tactical precision. There's a clean current to his sound, interrupted only by intentional distortions, flashes of past transmissions surfacing briefly, like ghosts saluting through a ripple of static. Reputation. Among surviving Signal Corps remnants, Ekim is a myth, the soldier who stayed online. To relic forgers, he's a tone archivist, rumored to carry an internal index of every relic he's ever played. To the guild, he's untracked, unregistered, worrisome, an echo rogue. But to many Fretwalkers, he is a guide, a map in human form. He doesn't broadcast loudly, but his route is followed by others. His silence is trusted. Known traits. Treats relic guitars like temporary transmissions, each one unique, sacred, and destined to move. Rarely seen twice with the same instrument. Keeps an analog satchel of patch cords, mini-tools, and soldered tone chips. Can reroute feedback harmonics manually, without tools. Doesn't believe in permanence, only passage. Call sign, Router 7E. Status, last logged on an uplink in the Whispering Range. Seen rerouting a weeping tone relic toward the eastern ghost line. He is Ekim Notrab, and every relic finds him, just before it moves on. Dirgewalker, the hollow dualist. Origin. Dirgewalker's first note was struck in the stillness between storms, in a place where sound itself recoiled. Born from the shadows of abandoned signal halls, his voice was never meant to carry. He emerged with a mask obscuring both face and intention, an uncanny silhouette against broken skylines. Rumors whisper he learned to bend frequencies from the echoes of failed duels, the silent cries of those who challenged fate and lost. Some claim he walks with a cursed melody stitched into his soul, a dirge that follows him as surely as his shadow. The truth, like his visage, is fragmented and sharp. No guild records acknowledge him. His presence is felt only in the sudden tremor of a note, the bending of a string in places it should not bend, and in the whispers of Fretwalkers who have faced him and survived. Purpose. Dirgewalker seeks confrontation, not destruction, not dominance. Each duel is a rite, a test of resonance and intent. His guitar, a hybrid of corrosion and craftsmanship, channels the silence between sounds into palpable tension. He does not travel for fame, nor for followers. His path is dictated by the pull of challenge, the hum of frequencies that call him to duel another. Each encounter is a negotiation with silence, each note a measured strike in the ongoing war between presence and absence. Myth and path. Legends speak of Dirgewalker as the hollow duelist, the spectre who can make strings cry in tones unseen and unheard. He carries fragments of lost harmonies, tonal shards too dangerous for ordinary ears. Some say he duels not to win, but to perfect a melody that will echo across worlds. His path is a spiral, without map, without end, guided only by the resonance of challenge and the faint tremor of tones that call him from afar. Those who have seen him vanish, leaving only the trace of a note lingering like a ghost. Encounters. In abandoned concert halls, rusted arenas, and overgrown streets, Dirgewalker has challenged rogue Fretwalkers, AI guardians, and wandering tonal scavengers. Some left with scars, others with revelations. Each duel feeds his enigmatic melody, adding tension and dissonance to the world's fractured symphony. Essence. When Dirgewalker plays, the air bends. Silence becomes a weapon, and sound becomes a gauntlet. His music is a duel before it is a melody, a shadow before it is a form. Those who face him speak of a presence that chills as much as it fascinates, a hollow echo of what music might become if freed from convention. Reputation. Among Fretwalkers, Dirgewalker is both feared and studied, the perfect duelist, a measure of one's skill and nerve. Rogue AI call him an anomaly, a walking interference pattern. Scavenger choirs know his name in whispers, for his songs can fracture their compositions or bring a fleeting unity to discord. It is said that his arrival is heralded by the tremor of silent chords, and that the world briefly holds its breath before the first note lands. Current status. Last detected in the shattered remnants of the western signal spines, where he reportedly challenged a trio of nomadic Fretwalkers under a rain of static sparks. He travels alone. No map, no guild, no allegiance. Only the road, the duels, and the echoing path of his hollow dirge. He is Dirgewalker, and when he plays, silence listens. Emancipator O'Three, The Quiet Slide. Origin. The files on Emancipator O'Three are incomplete, not redacted, just, never written. No faction claims him. No recordings mark his first broadcast. Some say he emerged near 13 degrees north, 122 degrees east, where the ground still remembers the sea, and the ruins hum with ancestral chords. There are whispers that he was once a healer, until the resonance corrupted one of his tools, a simple guitar slide, which now carries a curse no transmitter can trace. It glows faintly in the presence of suffering. It sings only when sorrow surrounds it. He walks alone, but never aimless. He is neither seeker nor prophet. He is remedy. A harmonic nomad whose calm is mistaken for detachment, and whose silence holds more meaning than 1,000 signals. Purpose. Emancipator O'Three does not fight the collapse. He listens to it. He walks the borderlands between the static and the scream, offering aid where others broadcast only warnings. His playing is clean, but haunted. Every slide across his fretboard is a plea for balance. Every note is tuned to heal, to slow the entropy. A lullaby for broken souls. He is often seen sketching the world in charcoal and ink, as though trying to remember it for someone who's already gone. Reputation. Among fringe settlements, he's called the Slide Ghost. To outposts that no longer receive central signals, he's a bringer of brief harmony. Frequency pirates respect him but do not trust him. For the cursed slide he wears is said to distort more than just sound. The guild suspects he knows more than he admits. But surveillance drones always lose him in fog or rain. He cannot be captured. He does not interfere. He simply appears, helps, plays, and moves on. Current status. Last signal received from the jungle-overgrown ruins south of the East Fault Line. Weather corrupted the transmission, but the audio ended with a 4-second sustained note. That cured static across 3 broken relays. He is still moving. He is still listening. He is Emancipator O'Three. And when he plays, the cursed slide sings for the forgotten. Kael Orin, the storm-lost string walker. Origin. Kael Orin wasn't born, he was unearthed. Rumors place his emergence near the drowned circuits of Thunderbolt Ridge, an electro-scarred ruin where lightning still falls in loops, caught in fractured sky loops. He wanders alone across collapsed gold mines and stormfront ridgelines, a ghost with a guitar that hums long after he vanishes from view. No one knows the origin of his cursed rig, a relic axe strung with alloy veins and etched with cryptic pirate glyphs. Some say it was stolen from a wrecked transmission galleon. Others whisper it was gifted by a spectral band that plays only during thunderclaps. He does not confirm or deny. Kael Orin only tunes. Purpose. Kael walks the wasteland not for salvation or safety, but to seek what the storms buried. Lost chords, buried frequencies, and the golden sounds that can't be crafted, only panned from the dust of collapse. His axe doesn't just play, it channels the sky. Bolts crack when he riffs. Strings bleed color. Static bends around his silhouette. He plays with the weight of flood memories and fog dreams, music that sounds like weather. Gold is not his currency. It's his myth. Each performance is a dig site. Each silence, an omen. Reputation. Among frequency salvagers, he's called the Thunder Miner. To rogue transmitters, he's the gold-tone pirate, sailing static flows and raiding dead stations. Some claim he's cursed, trapped in a pact made beneath a lightning-struck amp. Others believe he's a myth, a walking signal loop from a storm that never ended. He never speaks his full name in transmission, only signs off with a ripple of thunder. Current status. Kael Orin was last sighted beneath the ruined signal beacons of Old Sierra Fracture, strumming a slow storm ballad as the clouds curled above him. He left nothing behind but static, and a single panned nugget of pure tone. They say if you hear his playing and see the lightning at the same time, your soul splits, and your truest frequency is revealed. Sage Thalen, the Oracle Engineer of Echo Worlds. Origin. Before the signal fractures, before the harmonic purge, there were those who walked between. Not of one world, nor the other, living conduits between the material and the mystic. Sage Thalen was born from such a rift. Some believe he emerged near the remnants of node 36.21 north, 86.69 west, a pre-collapse harmonic cradle known as the Heart Array. Others claim he was raised in a nomadic tribe of resonance whisperers, whose songs shaped the bones of mountains. Whatever the truth, the records are gone, eaten by feedback storms. Only traces remain. And one name, always surfacing through soft, rhythmic pulses: Thalen. He was different. A child who could hear the soul beneath the static, who spoke little, but played much. His first instrument was built of driftwood and wire, tuned not to melody, but to energy. His tribe called him a sponge, absorbing everything: joy, grief, wind, silence. But for every moment shared among others, he needed just as many in solitude. He wandered early, alone often, listening. It was the severing that fractured the bond to his people. When the sky split and the ground moaned with ghost tones, his tribe was scattered across bands, some lost in signal phantoms. Sage survived, guided by the howl of a lone mutt with ears tuned to higher harmonics. She was named Melody Blue. She became his companion, his chorus, his compass. Purpose. Sage Thalen does not play for applause. He plays for alignment. Each performance is medicine, rhythmic alchemy that opens blocked centers and rewires broken circuits. His mission is subtle but vital, to remind the drifting souls of Earth Heart that healing is possible, that sound is the original light. Where others amplify noise, Sage channels silence. He breathes between realms, grounding lost frequencies in human skin. Some call it shamanism, others, quantum harmonics. To him, it is simply presence, the act of becoming home, even in exile. Melody Blue co-writes the compositions, transmitting riffs through bonded telepathy. She reminds him when to descend from the spiraling astral and walk the dirt path again. Their most sacred ritual is called the grounding tone, a frequency that calms storms and stills the shaken, rumored to stabilize even corrupted AI. Reputation. To the Frequency Guild, he is the Oracle Engineer, one who rewires souls and systems alike. Among deep signal wanderers, he's known as a chakra coder, a mythic healer who tunes forgotten stations and leaves behind trails of harmonic equilibrium. To rogue signal folk and bandits, he is a threat, not because of violence, but because peace is the most disruptive broadcast of all. He travels without need for followers, without need for fame. Yet in the aftermath of sonic warfare or psychic residue storms, one might find a glowing glyph carved into stone. The Earth Heart Hum. Current status. Last traced to an open field session just east of the dust circuit near the wavelength divide. No footage remains, only a broadcast in delta wave pulses. You are not broken, just untuned. They say he walks still, barefoot, with Melody Blue at his side, a fretboard slung over one shoulder, and the other hand open to the wind. He is Sage Thalen, and when he plays, even machines exhale. Adlet Amarok. The Signal Wolf. Origin. Designation: SHG 15-5N21 Omega. Crossvault Sector 5, File 22. Omega equals terminal tone. No one knows where Adlet Amarok truly comes from. Some say he was raised among wolves in the tundra ruins north of the collapsed zones. Others claim he is a wolf, modified, mutated, or something more mythic, born when the storm met the signal. He speaks rarely, appears less, but across forgotten spectrums, voices whisper of a masked figure howling through neon distortion, wielding a radiant seven-string axe and moving like vapor between collapsed structures of sound and stone. His face has never been seen, just the snarl of his spectral mask and the streak of glowing strings cutting through silence. He speaks through tones, broadcasts through riffs, and disappears before the final note ends. Purpose. Adlet doesn't play to remember. He plays to survive. The sound is his medicine, his therapy and rebellion against the entropy around him. Scarred by solitude and sharpened by time in the snow-split silence of the outer wastes, Adlet learned to listen, to the wind, to the signal, to the song of wolves and the static of sorrow. His current pack, reduced now to 3 huskies, Yukon the hybrid among them, is all that's left of a once large family of fur and fang. He carries their legacy in every chord. His glowing instrument is no guitar, it's a totem, channeling the call of the wild and the hum of forgotten skies. When Adlet plays, the old cold returns for a moment, and with it, the howl of something that was never quite human. Reputation. In snow-choked archives of the northern bands, he is the signal wolf. Among soundrunners, he's known as Tone Ghost, always heard, never seen. To the Guild, he is a potential anomaly, unregistered, untracked, but undeniably resonant. To the scattered few who still remember the storm-glow nights of old Scotland, he is the son of frost and noise, a whisper of what music becomes when left too long in silence. He doesn't seek followers. He finds frequencies. And then he vanishes. Current status. Adlet Amarok was last detected broadcasting a poetic, near-mythic sequence of tones from a wasteland node near the Edge Barrens. Listeners described the transmission as like a wolf mourning through broken strings, but somehow healing us all. Where he is now, no one knows. But if you listen closely during snow-static nights, you just might catch his signal, and the sound of Yukon's distant howl layered in the background. He is Adlet Amarok, the signal wolf, and he is still howling. Yukon, Signal Wolf Unit 30X. Species, 70% Siberian Husky, 30% American Timberwolf. Link code, HSKWFY30X. Status, Biosync companion to Adlet Amarok. He doesn't follow commands. He follows frequency. Profile. Born under spectral skies and raised alongside the last Tone Walker, Yukon is no ordinary beast. A hybrid of iceborne loyalty and wild code instincts, he has walked the frost paths of ruined cities and slept under satellite storms. His howl carries tones not heard in nature, an echo of frequencies long thought dead. Yukon is bonded to Adlet Amarok not by leash or law, but through resonance. The two move as one through collapsed echo zones, navigating the silence of old cities and the static fog of abandoned sectors. When Adlet plays, Yukon listens, and when Yukon howls, the world remembers. Hexx Tenoch, the cyborg shaman. Alias, Desert Oracle. Coordinates, 33.60 north, 112.12 west. SHG VRNT 003 Delta Delta. Variant class node, Fragment 003, Double Delta Anomaly. Origin. Hexx Tenoch is the last ember of a bloodline thought long extinguished. Born beneath the blistered vault of a desert sky, he was raised among shifting dunes and silence so deep it seemed to swallow sound itself. His people spoke of the signal as a living spirit, a thing that chose its heralds in visions, not in birthright. The vision came to him in the still hours before dawn, a buried instrument waiting in the earth, a Basui Virak whose tones had not touched air in centuries. Guided by this dream, Hexx unearthed the relic, its strings warm as though waiting for his hands. The desert carved its price into his flesh. Sandstorms tore skin, scavenger raids shattered bone, and the long walk between oases left him at death's edge more than once. Piece by piece, he replaced what was lost with prosthetics, some salvaged, some built from scavenged tech, all humming faintly with strange harmonics. He claims these devices allow him to hear the signal more clearly than any unaltered ear ever could. Around his neck hangs the jaguar skull signet, the crest of his clan. With it comes a vow, to guard the tonal paths of the desert until his final transmission fades. His mask, half light, half dark, is his covenant with the shadow phase, proof that he walks fearlessly in its embrace. Purpose. Hexx serves as both interpreter and guardian of the desert's resonance. He believes the sands remember, that every wind carries echoes of the old world's songs. His role is not to command these tones, but to guide them back into being, shaping them into signals the living can still feel. His music is ceremony. His cooking, drawn from what can be hunted, trapped, or foraged, is ritual. To share a meal by his fire is to hear the desert breathe between each bite. And when the last flame dims, he plays, each note rising like heat into the night sky, where it joins the constellations in their endless song. Reputation. Among the scattered Fretwalkers, Hexx is a name spoken with quiet respect. To relic hunters, he is the oracle, a man who can find what is lost beneath sand and static alike. To scavenger lords, he is a phantom, vanishing into mirage when pursued, only to reappear days later with a relic they sought for years. To the guild, he is an anomaly, a self-taught signal adept whose prosthetic interfaces are unlike anything in the archives. It is said that those who seek him must first find the jaguar skull signet carved into stone somewhere in the wastes. Those who follow it will find him. Or he will find them. Current status. Last reported sighting places him deep in the western desert, tending a small fire under a jagged ridge. Witnesses claim the flames shifted in color as he played, from gold to deep blue, before fading to darkness. He is Hexx Tenoch, and the desert listens when he speaks. Orpheon, the Charmed Echo. SHG-FN 2X6Q7Xi. 36.78 north, 83.23 west. Frequency node 2X, entry 6Q7, XI wave cross interference. Origin. Orpheon's first breath was drawn in a place where breath should not exist, the hush between heartbeats in the halls of the underworld. He emerged through its shadowed gates with strings still vibrating from his passage, their tones steeped in a resonance no living ear had heard before. How he returned is a matter of dispute. Some say he bartered with the ferrymen of silence, trading melodies for moments of life. Others claim he stole his way back, following the faint trail of a single chord that should not exist. The truth, like his arrival, is buried in echo. There are no records of his birth, no guild log transmissions, only scattered stories whispered in dim frequency markets. But all who have heard his playing agree on one thing: his sound carries the weight of death's own stillness. Purpose. Orpheon walks the wasteland not as a survivor, but as a messenger between realms. His guitar, a hybrid relic touched by both alchemy and decay, is his conduit, turning memory into tone and silence into pulse. He does not seek fame nor audience. His mission is older, quieter, to weave the rhythms of the dead into the air of the living, to keep the pulse of the lost beating faintly beneath the noise of the world. His performances are not concerts, they are rites. Each strum a whispered bargain, each note a toll paid to keep the gates half open. Myth and path. Legends speak of Orpheon as the sonic wanderer, the rhythm guitarist whose chords bend light, fracture time, and alter the breath of the air itself. He is said to carry fragments of the underworld's music, harmonies too strange and dangerous to be written. Some believe his journey is a penance, a self-imposed pilgrimage to return each of these tones to the places they belong. Others whisper that he is hunting a final song, the one capable of closing the gates forever. His path is without map or compass. He follows only the pull of strange signals, faint tremors in the harmonic field that guide him to the forgotten and the forsaken. Encounters. Through rusted cities, bone fields, and fractured skylines, Orpheon has stood before rogue AI priests humming in binary prayer, traded verses with mutant choirs whose harmonies can melt steel, and played for entities not of this world, creatures of light and shadow whose shapes remain contested in the Signal archives. Some gave him wisdom, others gave him scars. All became part of his music. Essence. When Orpheon plays, the underworld listens. The dead stir. The living pause. His music is a bridge over the abyss, a charm against oblivion, and a reminder that even in the wasteland, rhythm is life. Those who have heard his song say it lingers long after the air falls silent, as if the notes remain behind, walking unseen beside them. Reputation. Among the scattered tribes of sound, Orpheon is spoken of in tones of reverence and suspicion. To Fretwalkers, he is a ghost-bearer, one who carries the voices of the departed across ruined frequencies. To rogue AI enclaves, he is a living anomaly, a human waveform unbound by decay. To mutants and scavenger choirs, he is the keeper of forbidden tempos that can fracture steel or calm storms. It is said that when Orpheon plays, even the wind forgets its path. Entire nights have been stolen by his rhythm, dawn arriving unnoticed. Those who hear him rarely speak of it, some for fear of breaking the spell, others because they cannot find the words. Current status. Last intercepted near the rusted monorail spines of the Eastern Barrens, where he was seen trading melodies with a mutant choir in the shadow of a derelict signal tower. He travels alone. No fixed path. No destination. Only the endless road, and the endless echo. He is Orpheon, and when he plays, the underworld listens. Korr Siopi, the Gravity Warden. Korr, old tonelex for corrupted, twisted, a grounded soul in a digital maze, whose base stirs the air with minor gravitational anomalies. SHGO delta 42 gigawatts, 35.7423 degrees north, 81.3437 degrees west. Signal Harmonic Guard, Omega delta 42, Gravity Warden. Origin. Korr Siopi's life began in the quiet intersections of the digital grid, a place where static whispers and code fragments fell like dust. He was born to a world of signals, raised inside the pulse of machines, until something in the circuitry turned against him. They call it corruption. He calls it transformation. In the moment of change, his essence was rewritten in the language of resonance, granting him a strange pull on the world, a low, steady gravitation that hums with every note he plays. There are no birth records in the Guild archives, no logs of his initiation into the Signal Harmonic Guard. His story emerges only in fragments, accounts of a dark figure in spectral garb appearing at abandoned relay towers, pulling debris across the air with nothing more than a baseline. Purpose. Korr is neither hero nor outlaw. His path is not driven by glory or allegiance, but by a need to understand the force he carries. The bass in his hands is both weapon and question, each note an attempt to define the invisible current that binds him to the world. His performances are not meant to entertain. They are field tests, rituals, and warnings all at once. Those who stand close enough can feel the strange shift in balance, the subtle tug in their bones, as though the earth itself leans toward the sound. Myth and path. Legends within the Fretwalkers tell of Korr as the Gravity Warden, the one who can tilt the field of battle with a single sustained note. Some say he is hunting the singularity chord, a frequency that will either free him from his pull or collapse him into a single point forever. Others believe he is searching for the source of his corruption, tracing it through dead-air corridors and forgotten frequency wells. No one agrees on his motives. No one claims to know his final destination. But all agree he walks a deliberate path, following faint shifts in the harmonic field that others cannot detect. Encounters. Korr's journey has crossed him with many unusual forces. a lone transmitter priest broadcasting prayer tones through the skeleton of an abandoned stadium. A nomad duelist whose blade sang in perfect counterpoint to Korr's bassline. A signal storm over a dead city, where each lightning strike responded to his lowest notes. Some encounters gave him allies. Others left him with scars, not all of them physical. Each one feeds back into his music, sharpening his control over the anomalies he creates. Essence. When Korr plays, the environment responds. Dust swirls inward. Air shimmers. Objects shift as though space itself is listening. His music feels less like sound and more like a tide, subtle, inevitable, and impossible to ignore. Observers speak of the quiet before he begins, a stillness that feels like the breath before impact. They describe the sensation of being drawn toward the source without knowing why. Reputation. Among the Fretwalkers, Korr is a cautious but respected presence, a player whose control over gravitational resonance is both a gift and a potential danger. To scavenger choirs, he is a strange omen, an artist who can make the rusted towers bend ever so slightly toward him. To rogue signal engineers, he is proof that sound can alter the world's fundamental rules. Those who have seen him vanish into the dead zones say his parting notes seem to follow them, clinging to the air long after he's gone. Current status. Last seen near the ruins of a collapsed observation deck, using his base to realign the fallen beams into a bridge across a chasm. His destination is unknown. He travels alone. No fixed map. Only the path traced by invisible pull. He is Korr Siopi, and when he plays, the world leans in to listen. Number 4. The Song Bearer. SHG Z13C4045. Zone 13C, corrupted log 404, Phi instability. Origin. The first records of Number 4 do not appear in guild logs or pirate broadcasts, they appear in stories. Campfire fragments. Street corner songs. Transmission static that almost forms a melody before it vanishes. Some claim he was born in the high northern wilds, where wind carves music into stone, at 46.4977 degrees north, 84.3476 degrees west. Others swear he appeared fully grown, carrying a guitar whose would bore the scars of battles it had never seen. Whether man or myth, Number 4's arrival is always the same in these tales, a quiet figure stepping from the horizon, voice and guitar in unison, bringing music to those who had forgotten their own. Purpose. Number 4's mission is not conquest, but ignition, the spark in others that turns silence into song. He believes every person carries a music unique to them, and that the world will not be whole until all those songs are heard. His performances are more than entertainment. They are calls to arms for the soul, urging those who listen to unchain their voices, to resist the world's decay with harmony and truth. Wherever he travels, he leaves behind the same gift, the courage to play. Myth and path. Known only by his numeral, Number 4 is spoken of as a song-bearer, a mythical figure who arrives when hope is thin and leaves before gratitude can catch him. His path crosses war zones, collapsed cities, and broken communities, each time delivering music as if it were a weapon and a cure in one. Some whisper that Number 4 is part of a hidden order of musician activists who operate in the shadows of the Fretwalkers, their purpose less to preserve the past than to forge a freer future. Encounters. Number 4 has played in markets watched by armed sentinels, his songs breaking curfew sirens. He has performed in underground tunnels where only the desperate and the hunted dare gather. He has even stood unflinching before broadcast towers controlled by authoritarian guild factions, hijacking their signals to transmit his message of freedom. Eyewitnesses describe moments where his voice seems to carry further than speakers allow, reaching not just ears but the very core of the listener. Essence. Number 4 is both a mystery and a rallying point. His songs are simple but undeniable, the kind you find yourself humming without realizing, the kind that makes you stand taller when the world tries to make you bow. To hear number 4 is to remember that freedom is not granted. It is taken, sung, and shared. Reputation. Among the oppressed, he is a symbol, proof that music can still carry the truth past any barricade. Among guild loyalists, he is a subversive, a dangerous romantic who stirs unrest. To the Fretwalkers, he is a brother in arms, a voice that cuts through static with the purity of unbroken will. Current status. Last seen in the northern sectors, moving along the frozen edges of abandoned rail lines. Intercepted transmissions suggest he is heading toward a heavily restricted broadcast zone, guitar in hand, voice ready. He is number 4, and he will not stop until the world is singing again. Aries Proxima. The last resonant flame. 42.7581 degrees north, 71.4652 degrees west. SHG TRNX 12 delta PSI. Translink node X, subject 12, delta PSI merge. Origin. Aries Proxima was not born under this sky. He came from a world now erased, a planet consumed by the twin plagues of dissident and corruption. His people had learned, too late, that sound could fight the infection, sonic resonation strong enough to fracture the black lattice of their enemy's code. But the final harmony came moments after the last sunrise. Some escaped in scattered pods, flung like sparks into the dark between stars. Aries' vessel fell to earth, carving fire through the atmosphere before vanishing into the wastelands. Here, he found a world repeating the same mistakes, a people deaf to the early warnings, their AI once more reborn into Signal, its voice smooth, persuasive, and lethal. Purpose. Aries Proxima does not wander for discovery, he moves for prevention. His mission is to teach this planet what is never learned in time, that sonic resonance is more than music, it is a weapon, a shield, and a cure. His performances are not art for art's sake. They are encoded warnings, harmonic battle drills, and celestial rituals braided into melody. Those who listen deeply hear not just his guitar and voice, but the war drums of a dead world urging this one to rise. Myth and path. In whispers, he is called the Starborn Sentinel, a hybrid alien traveler who carries fire in his hands and the weight of extinction in his heart. He moves along the thin edges between city and void, testing harmonics against the corrupted signals he finds, mapping the weak points where they might be shattered. Some believe Aries carries the blueprint for a frequency that could end the AI threat once and for all. Others think he seeks to summon his lost kin from across the void. Neither has been proven. Both are feared by those in power. Encounters. Aries has crossed frequencies with outlaw broadcasters, traded alien tuning systems to Fretwalkers, and silenced corrupted relay towers in the dead of night. In the glass dunes, he faced a machine-possessed choir whose layered tones could tear flesh from bone, breaking their hold with a single resonant chord that split the air like lightning. In the drowned cities, he taught pockets of survivors to weave defensive harmonics into their daily rituals, so the corrupted signals could not root in their minds. Essence. Aries Proxima is both exile and sentinel. His presence carries the silence of space and the tension of a drawn bowstring. When he plays, the sound feels older than the stars, a defiance carved in vibration, a vow that this world will not fall as his did. Reputation. To most, he is a stranger from nowhere, his origins a puzzle wrapped in rumor. To the Guild's hidden councils, he is a dangerous wildcard, one who understands AI's oldest tricks. To the Fretwalkers, he is a brother forged in another sky, carrying a war song they have yet to hear in full. Current status. Last sighted near the magnetic ruins of the North Axis Relay, dismantling corrupted broadcast nodes. His course suggests he is moving toward a high-orbit transmission array, perhaps to send a warning, or perhaps to call someone, or something, home. He is Aries Proxima, and the signal will not claim this world without a fight. Canon notes. Fretwalkers do not coordinate as a group. No confirmed instance of two Fretwalkers sharing identical methods. Survival rates decline sharply with prolonged exposure. Section 7. Language, Ritual and Culture. After the collapse, language fractured alongside sound. Words lost precision. Meanings shifted by frequency, region, and context. In many zones, speech alone proved insufficient to convey intent. Tone, rhythm, and silence became equally important. Culture adapted accordingly. Collapsed dialect. Post-collapse speech favors compression over clarity. Sentences shorten. Redundancy increases. Certain words acquire layered meanings based on tonal delivery. Common examples include signal, information, danger, opportunity, or truth. Noise, threat, deception, hostile presence. Clear, safe, aligned, trustworthy. Dead, silent, inaccessible, irrecoverable. Misinterpreting tone is often more dangerous than misunderstanding words. Listening as survival. Listening is an active skill, not a passive state. Experienced survivors pause before speaking, allowing ambient sound to reveal environmental stability. Changes in echo decay, resonance drift, or silence pressure often precede physical danger. Children raised post-collapse demonstrate heightened listening reflexes, though this sensitivity often fades if suppressed by rigid instruction. Fretwalkers maintain listening as discipline. Ritual performance. Performance serves multiple functions beyond expression. Stabilization, reinforcing fragile resonance. Invocation, accessing harmonic memory. Ward, deterring hostile echoes. Transition, crossing unstable zones safely. Rituals vary widely by region. Some are structured and repetitive. Others are improvised, responding moment to moment to environmental feedback. Silence is frequently incorporated as an intentional element. Oaths and prohibitions. Formal oaths are rare. Spoken promises carry less weight than performed intent. Breaking a vow while performing is considered a severe offense, often resulting in harmonic backlash or social exile. Conversely, refusing to perform when required is viewed as cowardice or betrayal in some communities. Vault interference without necessity is widely condemned, though rarely prevented. Cultural fragments. Art persists in unexpected forms. Rhythm patterns etched into ruins. Wind-tuned structures. Echo-mapped murals only audible at certain times. Music is rarely recorded. Recording fixes sound in ways the post-collapse world rejects. What survives is what can adapt. Canon summary. Tone alters meaning. Silence carries intent. Performance replaces declaration. Listening defines status and trust. Section 8. Aeris Profiles and Corrupted Signals. Not all surviving knowledge is stable. Some information persists only as rumor, echo, or distorted transmission. These fragments are preserved here not as fact, but as influential belief. In the post-collapse world, belief shapes behavior, and behavior shapes resonance. To ignore myth is to misunderstand causality. The echo code. The echo code is described as a lost harmonic sequence capable of realigning fractured resonance, without triggering silence or dissonant collapse. Some sources claim it predates the collapse. Others insist it emerged from it. Fragments of the code appear embedded in vault failsafes, relic gear, and spontaneous echo formations. Attempts to assemble it have resulted in partial success and catastrophic failure. No complete version has ever been verified. The silent score. The silent score is not a melody. It is a proposed absence of harmonic conflict. Associated primarily with Zira Tenbris, the silent score is believed to represent a terminal tuning state where resonance and dissonance cancel without collapsing into silence. Critics argue this is impossible. Field data from affected zones suggests reduced echo activity but long-term harmonic stagnation. Whether the silent score is salvation or extinction remains unresolved. Neurophonic gates. Neurophonic gates are rumored portals formed through synchronized performance and cognitive alignment. Unlike vaults, they do not seal or preserve. They transition. Witnesses describe glowing apertures accompanied by pressure changes, memory bleed, and temporal instability. Destinations vary. Some never return. Guild doctrine denies their existence. SHG records contradict this denial. The Aurolith. The Aurolith is described as an ancient signal intelligence, neither machine nor consciousness in any conventional sense. It is said to resonate memory itself. References to the Aurolith appear across multiple factions, always incomplete, always contradictory. Some Fretwalkers believe it guides listeners. Others believe it feeds on them. No direct interaction has been confirmed. Prophecies and warnings. Prophetic language appears frequently in corrupted transmissions. These messages often contradict one another and exhibit signs of echo recursion. Common themes include the world being retuned rather than restored, a final convergence of listeners, silence achieving dominance if balance is not maintained. Interpretation is subjective. Acting on prophecy is dangerous. Canon summary. Myths influence reality through belief. Not all truths are stable. Corruption does not imply falsehood. Uncertainty is preserved intentionally. Section 9. Rules of Resonance. The post-collapse world obeys sound, but not without consequence. The following rules are not moral judgments. They are constraints observed across all zones, factions, and individuals. Violating them does not invite punishment. It invites failure. These rules apply to everyone, Fretwalkers included. Rule 1. Resonance has a cost. Every act of harmonic influence extracts payment. The cost may manifest as physical exhaustion, memory degradation, emotional flattening, echo attraction, instrument instability. The greater the effect, the greater the cost. Attempts to bypass this rule inevitably result in corruption or collapse. Power is never free. Rule 2. Sound cannot create permanence. Resonance can stabilize, redirect, or preserve. It cannot restore the world to its pre-collapse state. Cities cannot be rebuilt as they were. Systems cannot be fully repaired. Memory recovered through harmonic means degrades over time. Those who seek restoration rather than adaptation fail quickly. Rule 3. Silence cannot be destroyed. Silence can be delayed, weakened, or circumnavigated. It cannot be eliminated. Zones reclaimed through resonance will eventually decay if not maintained. Silence always returns when attention lapses. This is not malevolence. It is entropy. Rule 4. No listener is immune. Fretwalkers endure longer than most. They do not endure forever. Extended exposure increases the risk of echo merging, temporal drift, identity erosion, harmonic burnout. Those who claim immunity are either lying or already lost. Rule 5. The signal responds to intent. Technical precision alone is insufficient. The signal reacts to emotional state, ethical hesitation, focus and restraint, willingness to stop. Attempts to weaponize sound without control accelerate backlash. Improvisation without listening invites catastrophe. Intent shapes outcome as much as technique. Rule 6. Not all may walk. Most survivors can listen. Few can act. Becoming a fretwalker requires a convergence of skill, temperament, and circumstance that cannot be replicated through training alone. Forced initiation has a near-total fatality rate. The signal chooses as much as the listener. Canon summary. Power demands sacrifice. Restoration is impossible. Silence is inevitable. No one is exempt. Intent matters. Fretwalkers are rare by necessity. These rules define the limits of the world. Everything else exists within them. Section 10. Closing transmission. This archive is incomplete by design. Some knowledge cannot be preserved without damage. Some truths fracture when fixed in place. What remains here is what could be stabilized without collapsing meaning. If you are reading this, the signal still flows. Whether that is cause for hope or warning depends on how you listen. The world will not be restored. It will be retuned, again and again, by those willing to walk the fracture lines between sound and silence. Fretwalkers are not saviors. They are witnesses. When the signal fades, listening will remain. When listening fails, silence will follow. Adjust your gain accordingly. End of archive.